Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here, and we're looking at Captain Marvel, Higher, Further, Faster, More, Volume 1, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, art by David Lopez. DeConnick, we will remember from this channel, has been involved in the translation of manga for the manga industry, and some very, very problematic manga indeed that Kelly Sue DeConnick has worked on. But we love problematic manga here on the number one Marmaduke fan show. So, Captain Marvel, my spoiler-free review is this is one of the okayest books I've read this year, where I kind of went in with low expectations and I was amused by it. And as a library book that I got for free and I got to read for free, it was all right. I got an okay adventure. Some fun little things happened. Some fun little character moments happened. But I'm just kind of like recommitted in my belief that I would never pay money for this book. Like, this is at best I'm really bored on a 4-hour car drive, and this is something that isn't staring at clouds kind of book. I think its main problem is that Kelly Sue DeConnick wants Captain Marvel to be super awesome, cool Supergirl person. And what that means is we rarely get to see Captain Marvel have some kind of meaty moment I can connect with and say, aha, she's a character. She has a journey. She's going on a journey. She has flaws and strengths, and she's trying to work out things in her life. There's like the hint of that. I don't know. So let's just go into it. So part of the thing about reviewing Captain Marvel book is, has it been done to death? And there has been kind of like a cottage industry. Cats everywhere, and she's really angry. There's kind of been a cottage industry of YouTube channels looking at new Captain Marvel books and making the argument about what low quality they are. This was less low quality than I thought it was going to be. I went in with low expectations. I marginally enjoyed myself throughout the book, but so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make this like a, trip down memory lane to the early years of comics, YouTube drama in Marvel Comics, where Captain Marvel was at the center of a lot of it, because people felt like she was kind of being forced on people as the flagship character, even though she probably wasn't popular enough or substantive enough to have her own book and be a flagship character. She's only a flagship character because the higher ups wanted her to be, not because the fans and the consumers really, really wanted Captain Marvel to be. Even now, like, Captain Marvel, what comes to my head is still the now owned by DC version of Captain Marvel. Billy Batson, he says Shazam. Billy Batson isn't Shazam. Billy Batson is Captain Marvel. So let's just go into it. So, I like this cover art. John Cassidy and Laura Martin, kind of very simple, just like floating in space at an angle. So even though it's kind of like a very straightforward, straight pose, just it works. It works. I get the feeling she's flying through space. Not the most exciting thing, not the biggest promise of what's to come. But maybe like problem number one is it kind of opens in, them in space, exploring around with a seedy area with some aliens. And so I thought, okay, I kind of get it. She's exploring the galaxy with some aliens. And then it does in media res. And the thing about in media res is usually if you do in media res, it's because you're giving someone a huge promise. So if Captain Marvel had a leg chopped off, and then next to her was Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom was in a fluffy bunny costume, and on the throne of the evil emperor was Peter Parker Spider-Man, and Peter Parker Spider-Man was giving an evil speech about how he was going to destroy the universe, and then Captain Marvel kind of got up on her hobbled one leg and then said, "Curse you, Peter Parker," and then it said previously on Captain Marvel. That would be a good in media res, because I would want to know, how did Doctor Doom get in that fluffy bunny costume and help fight the good guys against the evil Emperor Spider-Man in space? I want to know what's going on. With this, it's just kind of like they explore a town, they get in a fight, and then she says, "Oh no, I got separated from my friend," which doesn't feel like an in media res moment. That feels like you could just start the story here and then tell me about their adventure in space, and I'll figure out. I don't need to see the boring process of Captain Marvel getting into space. But guess what? We're going to see the whole boring process of Captain Marvel getting into space. And why did I mark this? I think I marked this maybe because it was just like some okay kind of like Star Wars-y vibe. Yeah, Kelly Sue DeConnick clearly wants to write a Star Wars-y book. And it has some Star Wars-y elements of, like some cool monsters and some funny catchphrases and some direct references to Star Wars. Like, she literally says, "These aren't the droids you're looking for." Why would you say that to aliens? They don't understand what the cultural reference is. But what I think she's failing at is failing to maybe like appreciate like the team aspect of Star Wars. So in every member of the team of Star Wars, oh that face, oh no. Who's that by? I don't want to roast the artist. This might be a good example. So the origin of Captain Marvel. For the first chapter, she's sort of like feeling down on herself. She doesn't really know what her place is, even though she's got a nice boyfriend and she lives in Statue of Liberty with like a cute young girl who she's helped out. And so the girl draws in kind of cartoony crayon a origin story. So I like it when there is a child who has a good relationship with an adult character. One thing I don't like about this is it feels like an adult making fun of a child's drawing style. It doesn't feel like a child's drawing style. The Lieutenant Trouble, the little kid, apparently she just likes Captain Marvel and she thinks she's the super coolest person ever. Most like little kid sidekicks for a superhero. I think of what is it? Darkwing Duck and Goslin. Goslin respects DW because he's her adopted father, but she's always roasting DW. I think of Jade Chan and Jackie Chan from Jackie Chan Adventures. Jade is always getting into trouble and roasting Jackie Chan. And so the fun of it is that the kid is kind of mischievous, disobedient. They do respect and admire and love the parent figure, but that doesn't mean that they just like love every little thing that they do. So I think that the idea of Captain Marvel having a little Lieutenant Trouble who tags along is charming, but then Lieutenant Trouble has to add something comedic or fun to the mix. And because Kelly Sue DeConnick is obsessed with making Captain Marvel super duper awesome, special, spectacular, everyone loves her girl, then we don't get that kind of fun dynamic between the two. All I know about Lieutenant Trouble is that she thinks that Captain Marvel is the bee's knees, like the most special person ever. I even like the nickname Lieutenant Trouble. So maybe there's something there. We just don't get to see it in this book because she leaves her entire supporting cast behind to go find herself in space, including Rhodey, who was War Machine and it goes by Iron Patriot in this book. So he says, "Oh, well, I won't stop you from going into space," which isn't. Come on, Rhodey. If you love the girl, go with her. Why can't Rhodey go with her if he loves her and they love each other so much? It just feels like, oh man, you're just okay. You're just kind of like going to be simpy and okay with having a long distance relationship now because you're so supportive. Fight for the girl. Show her you love her. Show me that romance. So out in space. Oh, I marked this because this is like a perfect illustration of diversity in comics. I'm sorry, Zach. I am never going to mentally accept Comics Matter with your boy Zach as the name of your channel. You are diversity in comics. And so diversity in comics has made this point well. And this is just a good illustration of this. This is a fake 2-page spread where my brain can't accept that it's not a 2-page spread, but it's not supposed to be a 2-page spread. You're supposed to read this, and then you're supposed to reread this. Instead, I see everything like this because of how the composition works. Blue stretching across the top, orange stretching across the side, blue stretching across the side, because the artist used a similar composition for both pages, and they both got splatted together. I don't know if I remember to mark it, but later there is clearly a page where the artist meant the 2 pages to go together, and they had a thematic similarity and a similar last line, and then those got split up. Those were clearly supposed to be a 2-page spread, and yet they weren't. They were split up in this. Oy! So she meets the Guardians of the Galaxy, because the Guardians of the Galaxy movie was popular at the time. And I marked this because I thought this was kind of a good example of David Lopez doing kind of fun, cartoony expressions like angry. Okay, yeah, I'm down for that. My main problem with Captain Marvel's behavior is I don't know how to read her. Is she supposed to be a firm military commander, or is she supposed to be like a fun and bouncy and preppy high school girl, right, from college or something? Because sometimes she'll come off as really stern and stoic and firm, and then other times she'll just be like, hey now, drama queen in her behavior. So that's not military. I don't know. I don't know how to read her. What was the point I was going to make with that? Shoot. Did I just lose an actual important point? I might have. I feel like, oh yeah, I got it. So Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles is probably the most boring Ninja Turtle, But the reason Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles is such a popular turtle is he is the leader. And as the leader, he has to be the most serious, he has to be the most mature and composed and calm in the face of a bad situation. So for people who say Raphael is the lead turtle, he's objectively not the leader, except in the rap from that one movie. And Raphael is a turtle with like difficulty with his anger, right? And so this is a struggle that Raphael has to undergo, and that makes Raphael an interesting character. But Leonardo, because he's a stable character, gets to lead the turtles. And so my point is, a character like Captain Marvel, if the whole point is she's Air Force, she's a super strong military lady, she's a firm, commanding, leader type character, then we need to see her lead. And that doesn't mean that, and you can't play it both ways. She can't be fun, silly, preppy college girl and firm, capable, reliable leader. You got to go in a direction. And maybe even make the whole point of the character is that she's kind of stiff and kind of a, I think of X-Men, where Wolverine's always making fun of Cyclops and calling him the Boy Scout, right? And people will call Captain America the Boy Scout. And the reason they work is that they have these great leadership qualities. Because they can't decide whether Captain Marvel is a strong, firm leader character who may be a little stuffy but actually has these great qualities, or if she's a fun, silly adventure girl, they can't really make up their mind of what kind of character they want her to be and how they want me to be invested in her. So she goes off into space, and it feels like this is supposed to be a heroic moment, but Kelly Sue DeConnick's writing undermines the whole thing. Taking off into deep space by myself with no navigational system, chasing after a vehicle that can easily outpace me is dumb. It's super dumb. It's super duper dumb. And I know how dumb it is the minute I make the choice, but I can't stop myself. This is just kind of how I do things. And come on, no one steals my flirkin' cat. Oh, look, an F-bomb joke in a comic for kids. You can use repetition for emphasis, but dumb, super duper dumb is super duper duper dumb. Don't do it in writing, even for like being silly, unless the whole point is that the character is silly, stupid, and not to be taken seriously. Maybe as like that's part of the point is, oh, they're so stupid and immature. They need to learn to become mature. This is like annoying stuff Naruto would do before becoming mature and not being annoying Naruto from season 1 anymore. And it's actually kind of a heroic moment of I'm going to go out into space without a plan just because I have to, which could be cool if it was played with any seriousness whatsoever. Cover art. Where is the cover artist names? Why aren't they putting the cover artist name on these? I guess it's Lopez. Yeah, kind of a cool concept, really straightforward. And like emphasis on Captain Marvel with like the Guardians of the Galaxy as a supporting cast. Good. I think that's a neat little idea. And then, okay, this is so stupid. So the setup is, I'm going to go out into space. I'm so heroic all by myself. I lost her. No payoff. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy come save her. So the whole setup of her being heroic, no payoff, comes from. Why did I like this book? I like this book because I got it from the library for free, and I was marginally amused by it. And again, don't pay any money for this. Why would you pay any money for this? It's a thing you read to occupy yourself for an hour when you're bored, and then you kind of think, all right, and then you mostly forget about it. Oh, look, it makes her look like she has cat ears when her helmet disappears. Is that on purpose or not? Maybe, because she loves cats. Okay, this was one of the more okay moments where she gets there, she's an Avenger, and she pretty much gets told, hey, just because you're an Avenger and you've got these powers, that doesn't mean that you can magically solve all our problems. We have a political problem here. You can't solve a complex political situation with, magic laser powers, hun. And it's kind of condescending of you, which I guess is an anti-Western message. Like, it's about how, hey, Western nations, don't meddle in our affairs. We're going to solve our problems for ourselves. And Captain Marvel, you're such a Westerner thinking you can come in here and meddle. But then the Queen Lady invites her in anyway, so it kind of like undermines the point of it. Like, are you trying to say that she's being arrogant and meddling in their affairs, or are you trying to say that she is a hero and she will help them figure out their affairs? This is so paced for the trade. Like, we're like 3 or 4 issues in, and we've gotten to the alien world, and we've seen the problem of the alien world. This is a trade. Okay, that was one of the points I wanted to make. So When comics are paced for the trade, that means they're kind of slow and the floppies aren't worth much. So hopefully what that means is when you pick up the trade, it's more enjoyable and you maybe read it a little quicker and you're not paying $4.99 an issue. This is something where I would have been very frustrated if I got the individual issues because it would feel like I was just getting half of a comic. Why'd I mark this? That creepy face. She's supposed to be like a little girl, and she looks like a 40-year-old man in this panel. I don't read her as like an immature little girl. They should have gone for like age 12 or age 13, a visual look. Instead, they went for like 20-something college dude visual look for what's supposed to be a little girl. Even if they're supposed to be aliens, I should be able to look at the alien and identify with the alien like a human character, unless the whole point is they're so alien that they're like an insect creature and you can't read them as a human character. They're an insect, but inside they have the soul of a heart of gold and the soul of a poet. Yeah. So alien design is a little off. Pacing, I don't know. I'm so conflicted about this book because I marginally enjoyed myself while reading it, but then they're keeping like these dopey moments where she's stretching the big strong guy's cheeks and she's got the silly Billy smile and it's kind of a cartoony smile, but everything else is kind of semi-realistic. And oh, look, it's a cool snake girl Medusa lady and she's a goddess. And she's a lesbian in space. And she's super duper cool and confident in herself. And that's her character. Hooray! Let's go look for space pirate stuff. And there's a emperor. And he's a big, fat meanie. Okay, and there's a council, and they argue, and she goes off into space all by herself to fight the evil emperor, because she's super cool, and she doesn't want to abandon people. Okay, this should be cool. This should be like, oh wow, one superhero versus a million spaceships from the evil emperor. I'm so invested. What if we could pack all of this into one issue, and then this would have just been like the setup for the next epic stage of the adventure. I want more stuff in my comics, even if it's paced for the trade. So I guess that's the point. The thesis of this video is, even though in trade paperback format, this is better, and I believe it is okay for you to tell longer stories with slower builds, I should at least have some impact at the smaller chapter stages throughout the story. And the manga industry has figured this out, because most manga stories have long-term, single, epic, heroes' journeys that stretched across multiple years and volumes and stories and mini story arcs within the grand overarching narrative. But then each little chapter is serialized and packaged for a sort of digestible serialized form. It's like Charles Dickens. Read Charles Dickens, you will get the feel for how to tell serialized stories, because he literally published his novels one chapter at a time in newspapers. Charles Dickens figured out this problem. Kelly Sue DeConnick should have had this problem figured out. The super queen lady, she's super mad at the evil emperor, and the evil emperor, they're so meanie beanie. And good thing that, hooray, the lesbians we don't know anything about. Aren't you so invested in them? It's the girl who said she was a goddess and she's super duper cool. I'm really emotionally attached to these characters and care what happens to them because they're lesbians and they're super duper confident. And they said they're super duper confident goddesses, so I know they're super duper characters and I really care about what happens to all of them. She got some silly Billy music to take home with her and she found herself. Hooray! Oh, look, it's Scotty Young. I like Scotty Young cover. It's kind of a cute. It's not Charles Schultzy. It's a cartoony style with like a chibi influence, but it's not quite anime. It's a mashup of the anime style and maybe the Western cartooning style. That's Scotty Young. I could take one look at it and say that's Scotty Young's style. That's kind of fun. Yeah, she's a cat. It's kind of a cute cat. I like that better than some other anthropomorphized animal characters. Okay, by David Lopez. There we go. Give David Lopez an animal book or something. Give him like Captain Marvel in space or something for little kids. I could get behind that. J.G. Jones and Laura Martin, kind of a realistic European style. I think this head is too big. Something's wrong here. I like the strong outline around the edge, but something's up about them proportions. And then Arthur Adams and Peter Steigerwald, kind of a pretty style from like feels kind of 90s-ish. Yeah, it's okay. It's the most okay book ever. The question is not should you buy it. The question is should you check it out from the library. If it's free, you might as well. You might as well read it. You will find it moderately enjoyable. Not horrible SJW trash. Nothing of particular substance. So, I'm a Marmaduke fan. Love you guys. Love my subscribers on Subscribestar. If you like this video, why don't you like, maybe write a comment. You can share your thoughts in that comment. And then, if you subscribe, you can click a bell to receive notifications. And then I will put your name in the credits after the video. Show my appreciation for you wonderful people. Sorry for that paste for the trade outro. I'm number one Marmaduke fan. I sincerely love you guys, and I'll catch you later.